Welcome to the Puck Bros podcast. This is episode 6. We were planning on taking a week off, but so much happened that we have enough news to cover for a full episode. My name is Brett, and as always, I'm joined with my brother Nolan. We're going to catch you up on all that news happened and have a little bit of fun too. But there's a lot to talk about, so let's just get right into it. Here we go. So the first thing on the docket today is something we talked a little bit about last week, but it has come to an exciting conclusion. The Oilers decided not to match the contracts of either Broberg or Holloway. So now they are both St. Louis Blues signed to those 2-year contracts. I think it was $4 million and $2 million, and so Edmonton is going to.
Broberg's closer to 5.
That's right. Yeah, like it's like 4.9 or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so Edmonton is going to get St. Louis's second and third round pick as compensation. But for whatever reason, this is the weird part. St. Louis felt like maybe they cheated Edmonton out. I don't think they should have. You did it fair and square. That's the way the rules are. Because the Blues then traded to Edmonton Paul Fisher. Not familiar with him, but still they traded Paul Fisher and an additional third round pick to Edmonton for future considerations. So what's your initial reactions to all of that going down?
So, oh boy. I think this could either work out really well for St. Louis, or it could just be a whole nothing burger. Because Broberg and Holloway played only a little bit this season. They're not like established NHLers, and they're already getting paid like established NHLers. So I'm sure they're going to make the roster because they kind of have to if they're making that much money. So it'll be interesting to see like how they fit in with the roster, where Broberg goes. I'm sure Holloway will fit in just fine, on a bottom pairing, on the bottom 6 role. So overall, I think I would say we'll just have to wait and see. This is going to be a long time coming before we decide who wins the deal.
It's not even so much win the deal per se. Well, maybe it is. I see what you're saying. Like Edmonton would have had to, like we talked about last week, they would have had to trade someone away. I mean, you're going to have to be dealing with these next 2 years of these guys taking up a decent bit of your cap space, and part of that needs to go to Draisaitl, right? His contract's up at the end of this season, so that $6 million is going to put pressure on that, especially because
that's why that
2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, see, that's why they probably are like, we're just going to have to lose them.
Yep. And for St. Louis, I feel like it's very low risk because they're not in a win now mode right now. Even though they just won the Cup in 2019, they're kind of in that retool stage. Like, hey, we're going to be decent, but we're not quite at that Cup readiness. But all their guys are young, and with adding these guys in 2 years, they can probably, if they end up being really good, they can get paid what they've earned. And if they end up not being good, you only paid them for 2 years, and maybe they'll even come back for cheaper. So I don't think there's much risk for St. Louis here. And Edmonton just has to kind of like throw up their hands, be like, we kind of were put in a tough situation.
You're getting 2 former first round picks for a second and a third.
Oh, and so 2/3 and Paul Fisher because
2/3
the pity trade.
Yeah. The pity trade. So so it's honestly a good risk to take if you're St. Louis, because you don't know if these guys can develop into like a top 4 role for Broberg, and then even possibly a top 6 role for Holloway. Even though I still think, ever since he was drafted, I always felt like, because I think that was when I was starting, he's like a third liner, basically, like a good third liner though.
Something that came out a little bit with this, for whatever reason, even though his name's kind of been somewhat popular recently, the new GM of Edmonton, his name escapes me, but the guy who had all the issues with Chicago.
Oh, Scott Bowman.
Scott Bowman. So some people say that the St. Louis GM did this to stick it to the new GM, be like, "Welcome back, you piece of crap." Like, so, but
the guy, sense. St. Louis was rivals with
with
Chicago.
Chicago, yeah. So, but the guy obviously Armstrong, I forget his first name, but his last name's Armstrong.
I think it's
He
Doug.
denied all those claims. He's like, I didn't do this to get back at him or whatever. Like throwing out the offer sheets he knows they can't match, but maybe he secretly did. Obviously, he's not going to admit it publicly, but
Montreal, when they were doing that whole Sebastian Aho, and then
okay.
Carolina decided to be the what looking like one of the worst things
Oh,
ever
jerky, douchey,
of just Prairie Kakiniemi,
yeah,
who signed that 8-year deal, and he looks like a
a meh,
nothing.
yeah,
So
NHLer, but not like a star or anything.
I don't even know about that. I think at best he should play in Finland.
Oh my god.
But yeah, there was another trade where I thought maybe they would be able to match one, but apparently this trade was just out of nowhere.
Yeah, so I think
And
this
then there was
trade.
another trade.
Yeah, so I think this trade is trying to salvage what they knew. They knew they were going to lose them. That's what honestly the some people thought they made this trade to make cap space, but I think it was kind of like we're going to have to do what we can to salvage the situation.
Yeah.
So they acquired Ty Emberson from San Jose, and they gave San Jose Cody Cece and a third round pick. And
Hmm.
then they also from Vancouver, their Western Canada rivals, they got Podkolzin for just a fourth
Vasily
round pick.
Podkolzin,
So he's basically gonna,
former 10th overall pick.
yeah. So they're gonna probably try to get him to be their new Holloway. Emerson is a defenseman, right? So
Yes, he
they're gonna try.
is.
That's their new Holloway and Broberg right there with those trades.
Let me just see if I
But you
was
lose
right.
CC for that. So
Thank goodness I was right. 10th overall pick. All right, I feel
nice
smart.
job.
Okay. But yeah, Ty Emberson, I'm pretty sure is like a one of those guys like he can probably stay in the NHL, and it looks like he probably will since they traded
Right.
Cody Cece for him and a third. So they probably feel high about this guy.
Like I said, this is clearly a replacement for
Hmm.
Broberg and Holloway. They're like, we're gonna lose them. Let's get a cheaper
Well,
option.
Emerson is a right-handed guy, so he's a replacement for Cody Cece at the moment.
Well, a young defenseman. I know
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah,
into the handedness, but at least a replacement as a young defenseman in you're
yeah.
developing in because Edmonton's in win now mode, so they can't afford to take big losses. They want
Hmm.
they were 2 goals away from winning the Stanley Cup, so they know they're right there. So they're like we have to
Hmm.
do something. We're not going to be able to keep these guys because, like I mentioned, then they won't be able to re-sign Draisaitl. Um,
Yeah,
so they had to lose them. This is their salvaging trades, and we'll have to see how the season shakes out. Maybe Podkolzin and Emberson end up being taking up huge roles. Maybe Broberg and Holloway end up stinking over in St. Louis. We'll
you
see.
know, all
The
these are all young
speculation.
players.
Yes, that's very true.
We're gonna have to wait to see how they develop. Especially all of them are getting change of scenery. Like Podkolzin was not fitting in on Vancouver. See how he does in Edmonton
Hmm.
because he had top six potential, like top six forward. Ty
Right.
Emerson, I believe, was
Medium
like a
top
former
six, right?
second. Sure.
4-star
Ty
grade.
Emerson, Podkolzin was like ranked to be like a possible fifth overall pick.
Oh wow.
I think it was the whole thing because he's going to stay in the KHL for a bit.
Well, he's over here
Kind
now.
of like
So
Matvey
Mitchkov.
Michkov.
Yes, the Calder
Even
winner
though I
for
think
2025.
probably. Ty Emerson's like a former second round pick, but it's actually like developed pretty solidly. And then yeah, we'll have to see how they do on their new teams. Every single one. It's weird that the Sharks were like, let's get Cody Cece.
Get some veteran
But
leadership in there. I mean,
I
they don't
guess
have
so.
much. I mean,
I might as well get somebody, but
yeah,
Cody Cece, I don't know about that. At least you're getting a third too.
yeah. Other
All right.
trades outside of Edmonton. We're done talking about Edmonton.
This is the odd one.
The first one you think is odd?
Yes.
Okay, well, so Line A has been expected to be traded all off season. He got cleared from being on the player assistance program, and then he was expected to be traded. I can't remember if he requested a trade or if they Columbus just decided it was time to move on. Um, Either way, he has finally been traded to the Montreal Canadiens. So he is going to be a Hab. He was traded. The Columbus also gave Montreal a second because they know they're taking on a big contract, another big
Hmm.
contract. and they
Yeah, they
got,
kept all of his cap.
yep, all is cap. And they're the Habs are sending in return Jordan Harris, who's a probably a prospect I'm not familiar with. His name doesn't jump out to me. But
Yeah, he's like an NHLer though.
okay,
Like I'm pretty sure I'll do some research just to be 100% sure.
so the
But
one I can talk a little bit while you look things
yeah,
up.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so obviously the thing we mentioned, the contract, they're keeping all the space, and I haven't looked up, but I know Montreal was already pushed right against the cap because they have huge contracts to Caulfield and Suzuki already. They're still paying Josh Anderson and Gallagher way too much, and Carey Price is probably not going to be an issue. They'll probably put him back on LTI. No, obviously Price will go back on
Yeah, he's
LTIR.
not ever coming
Yeah,
back, so
yeah. So it is going to make their cap situation even more stressful. Maybe there's another trade coming from Montreal to do something similar. Now that Arizona is Utah now, I don't know if Utah is going to be the place where dead contracts go. But
could be.
we'll see. But that's the one thing to think about with Montreal. It's like I like the additional line A, but the way it puts stress on their cap, I don't know how that's going to work.
So this
Back with
might
Jordan
be
Harris, is that where you? I don't know if that's where you're going to go.
okay. I'll quickly throw Jordan Harris. He's a 24-year-old. He played in college and then immediately made the NHL. He's definitely more of a top six defenseman.
Okay.
He like I think his most points was 17 points. Yeah. So just like a solid two-way, maybe more defensively focused guy, left-handed.
So they're
If
not
I
really giving up
remember,
anything, really.
well, yeah, he could maybe get better, but who knows? It's also Columbus. You just might never see him again. But I if Line A, I feel like this might be the worst place for
Oh
him to
wow,
go
that's not what
because
I
you
was
know how
expecting you to
there's
say.
so many. You know how many so people always like say about him is like his attitude about how hockey is, and he's going to besides Toronto
Oh
maybe the
yeah,
worst
true.
media place of all time. Like there's them, there's Edmonton, there's New York if we're going American. So he goes from Columbus where
Just like no
you're
media
not going to
pressure.
deal with exactly. Like even Winnipeg, he felt like he was probably getting too much because he's on a Canadian team. So I feel like this probably is like the worst place for him to go if he struggles.
Yeah, fair
Like
enough. I did look at the cap space situation real quick. So they are 2 million over the cap, including with include that includes Price being on LTIR. So they do need to make some kind of trade if they want to be cap complacent for the season. So
it's a trade line and keep the second. I
um, I feel like you could probably get rid of Christian Dvorak, maybe Joel Armia. I'm just looking at
feel
guys
like
who have
Christian
1 year
Dvorak's
left.
always been in trade rumors, so could be him.
Well, he finally only has 1 year left, so a team might be more willing
I know.
to do it. He's making over 4 mil, so they could retain 50% and probably be okay.
Yeah. But I it would be cool if Line A performed really good with the Habs. Like you can imagine like a top line of probably not Caulfield. I'm trying to think who's left-handed on Montreal.
Slavkovsky's left-handed, isn't he?
Slavkovsky. Oh, so like put him with Slavkovsky, put him who could center that line?
You don't want Suzuki there.
Suzuki plays with Caulfield, I'm pretty sure, right?
He doesn't have to.
You know.
There's the
All
other
right.
center on their
Slavkovsky,
team is Kirby Doc, Alex Newhook, and Jake Evans.
Kirby Doc.
Yeah,
Okay. I think a line of Kirby Doc, Slavkovsky, line A, all of those guys are big and and they can be physical when they want
that
to.
could be a good second line right there.
That would be a fun second line, to be honest. Doc, line A, Slavkovsky, who finally looks like he's living up to semi that first overall pick standard.
Yeah. Well, he's that development is happening slower than most first overall picks,
But
but
he actually had a really solid season this
it
year. Like
started out rough, and then
he's
he
looking
picked
better
up.
than Shane Wright. He
That's
can say that
yep,
at least.
yep. You can say the Canadians don't feel like they made the wrong decision at this point.
Yeah.
That whole
Alrighty.
another trade. This one you were like, huh? when it because it just happened today. Rutger McGrowdy, McSomething, McDouble. I don't know. Rutger from the Winnipeg Jets. He was drafted very high, I believe 14th overall, just a few seasons ago. He's been playing with the Michigan Wolverines, performing very well there. But he is ready to take on an NHL job, at least try for one. And Winnipeg was apparently not going to give him an entry level deal, so he requested a trade to a team that would be willing to give him an entry level deal, and it ended up being Pittsburgh. So now Rutger McGurdy is going to be a Pittsburgh Penguin. They did sign him to an entry level deal. What did Pittsburgh have to give up? Their 14th overall pick, Brendan Yeager. And I
That's
think,
crazy. They're both 14th overall picks.
yes. I don't know how much you know about these two guys as prospects. Maybe you can give us some more insight about the types of players they are.
McGroder's definitely more of a two-way guy compared to Yeager, is more offensively focused. So I feel like that's probably a good fit for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah, I think once again this is just like a trade. We're gonna have to see how their careers develop. I think it's a much better return for Winnipeg than, let's say, the Philadelphia Flyer deal when they traded Cutter Gauthier
Oh, for
for Jamie
Drysdale,
Drysdale.
yeah.
Because Drysdale, I think, is always going to struggle with injuries. Hopefully, he doesn't, but
Yeah.
he's already been like very injury prone.
Yeah, both
Um,
Yeager and McGurdy at this point have not had injury issues.
yeah, well, yeah, Jaeger's playing in the juniors still, I believe. I don't know if they signed him.
They did not.
Okay, so
Maybe
he's
they
still
will,
unsigned.
but for
They
now,
should.
yeah,
Yeah, I wonder how he feels about that because you had the chance to play with Pittsburgh, Crosby, and stuff, and now,
you're up in
oh, I'm on
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. Awesome. But overall, I think it's good for McGroder that a team wanted, or McGrody, that team wanted him, especially Pittsburgh. He'll probably start playing there
Yeah.
day one if he can make the team out of camp.
Well, like they signed him as soon as the trade was official. There was
Yeah,
like,
so they want him,
yeah,
obviously. If you're willing to trade your top prospect for a top prospect who's just a bit older by a couple, either 1 or 2 years, I think you like this guy. I think they probably expect him to play.
right. No, yeah, I definitely agree. Um, for them to make such an aggressive move to get him and then to sign him immediately, they clearly expect him. I mean, maybe if he has a bad training camp, he goes to the AHL, because he can't go
Yeah,
back
and there's nothing.
once you sign a contract, you cannot go back to the NCAA. So
No, so if anything, that would probably be good as well. If they don't feel like he's ready just yet,
get some professional hockey line. I
get
mean,
some professional hockey,
yeah, that's
and
what
you get to
Mackie
play for the
Samus. Sorry,
Wilkes-Barre Scranton
Penguins.
Penguins.
I was gonna say Mackie Samoskevich, not as high of pick as Rucker, but also a Michigan Wolverine. He played with them for one season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Mackie Samoskevich played his first professional career last year. He almost made the Panther roster, ended up getting sent down just because he wasn't quite ready for it. But then he did very well in the AHL. I believe he was our top scorer for the Charlotte Checkers. So
Mm-hmm.
now he's probably going to be on the NHL roster this year. We'll see what comes out of training camp. But so
Yeah,
with Rucker, if he does, it might be the same exact thing. I think he's a little bit better than Samoskevich, so maybe not. But
yeah,
I
he's like
think
a top guy for Michigan.
right. Yeah, Samoskevich was. I mean, he played on the top line, but he kind of benefited from playing with
Yeah,
first overall pick last year, or not first overall pick. He was a second. The Columbus guy. Crap, what's
Ken
his name?
Johnson.
No, not Kent Johnson. Uh,
Really?
no, come on, Brett. He's the center that they just drafted.
Cole Sillinger.
No, they
Oh,
just
they
drafted
just drafted
last year. They just drafted him last year.
Adam Fantilli. That's it.
Fantilli. That's it. He benefited a
Uh,
lot from playing with Fantilli. There you go.
okay,
Sorry about that. Jeez.
all good.
Brain fart.
All right, we got better move on.
Yeah. So this one more trade thing, but it's not a trade that has happened, but something to keep your eye out for. And it involves your team, Nolan. Yaroslav Askarov has requested a trade out of Nashville. He says he will not report to the AHL team. He says, I am not playing in the AHL again. I expect an NHL job. As far as what Barry Trotz has said, he responded by saying, we expect Askarov to play a camp and compete for a job. Askarov apparently doesn't want any part of that. He feels he's ready for an NHL position. Who do you think might take a stab at this, or is he just going to be on Nashville, stuck there, in backing up Saros?
Um, well, he's not going to because we signed Scott Wedgwood, so we're already kind of chose our backup.
Right.
The Barry Trotz can say, "Oh, we can see how he plays out of camp," but we're not sending Scott Wedgwood down to the minors because we just signed him. He's a backup goalie. Oh my god. It makes sense for Askarov. He played really well last year in the AHL. So he definitely, I thought he was going to be our backup, but then we decided to. I don't understand why we decided, let's get Scott Wedgwood. Like, why not? You
That's
have a backup goalie.
that's
You
probably
have
exactly what
Askarov.
Askarov is feeling. He's like, hey, I thought this was going to be my year to kind of compete for that.
I feel,
And then they signed
so
Wedgwood, so he's like, what the heck?
I'm going to make a football reference, okay?
Okay.
The Atlanta Falcons signed Kirk Cousins to this giant deal.
Okay.
So he's going to be our starting quarterback. And in the draft comes up, I believe they have a top 10 pick. I'm not sure which pick. And who do they draft? A quarterback. So you got to be thinking, like, Kirk Cousins is like, oh, what?
No,
See,
top
this
10
one's
is
like, it's kind of the opposite because Askarov has been
right.
developing with
Right.
us. And then we just sign a guy to be like, okay, you're our backup. And then Askarov's like, what am I doing here?
Right.
So I would be more upset if we didn't sign you Saros to that giant deal.
Right.
Because
Right.
you
You'd be
Saros
kind of
is our goalie.
screwed.
He's our guy. So now I'm like, okay, it's fine if we lose Askarov. I just hope we can
Get
get
something
something
back.
too.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
a
Travis
team that
Konecny.
popped up was no, we're not getting Travis Konecny. Um I believe the San Jose Sharks are a team that keeps
Oh.
popping up. And then Montreal Canadiens are another team because they have Molten Bolt and I don't think they have Allen anymore.
I still have the Canadians Puckpedia pulled up, so I can actually get you right on that.
Yeah.
Right now, it's
So
Montebo and Primo. If you remember Caden Primo.
see, so that Montreal could be a good spot for him.
I like the San Jose idea. They have so much trade capital right now,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking about how they're not in a win now mode. Even if Askarov doesn't play elite right away, they know he has the potential to get there, and they don't need him to be elite right away. He can just kind of
Mm-hmm.
continue to develop. I mean, San Jose is basically only a small step above the AHL level, really. So, I
Oh
mean,
God, that's not true.
whoever won the Calder Cup, let's see if they can beat San Jose. No.
No.
Um,
Okay, but
but anyways, I think San Jose has enough value for Nashville to get Askarov. Like I feel like Nashville feels they could get a fair amount for
the
Askarov if they
only
trade with
thing
San
I
Jose.
don't like, and this is just because of video game logic, I would hate for him to be in the Western Conference.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping he gets traded to the East, so that way, if we see
San
him, it's
Jose
only in the
Nashville
Cup.
game 7. Askarov pitches a shutout.
Yeah, it's a 1-0 shutout. Askarov being the winner. But yeah, I would be more upset, but you know what? We got our guy. Hopefully, he doesn't take a step down now that he's getting paid.
Hope
So
I don't think so.
I don't
And
think
to
so
kind of go
either. So
further into Montreal, we were talking about the Line trade and how they do need to free up cap. I don't think that won't work at all because Nashville doesn't have the cap to spare.
mm-mm.
So yeah, never mind. I think San Jose makes more sense. I
Unless we trade something back,
right, and I mean, is Nashville
like
going to do that? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
All right, let's get into contract talk. We have some extensions, but I want to start out with some drama. I mean, the Askarov trade is some drama, so this kind of continues it.
Former
So
Predator drama.
former Predator drama. So first thing that happens is Nashville trades Ryan Johansson to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just I think he's just injured all year. I don't remember if he played even a game
He
with
wasn't
Colorado.
doing well.
He wasn't doing well. So then Colorado trades him to Philadelphia. He did not play a single game with Philadelphia. I know that.
No.
Um, and for something came up with some injury report, and Philadelphia released a statement saying Ryan Johansson had breached his contract, and so it was going to be terminated. So they felt like he did something that was in the contract that went against it, so they had the permission to terminate it. It's similar to what happened with Galchenyuk in
Mm-hmm.
Arizona last year. So they signed Galchenyuk. He did something stupid, and so because he did that stupid thing, Arizona was able to terminate the contract without there being any penalty. And so
Mm-hmm.
Philly is saying Johansson did the same thing, but hold your horses. Ryan Johansson and his agent come out saying we didn't breach the contract. What the heck? So they're going to appeal it,
Oh my
and
goodness.
and so Ryan Johansson might, if he wins his case, he's going to be back on Philadelphia, even though they tried
That's
to
gonna be
terminate his
awkward.
contract. The appeal process can take months. I read, so this won't be like a quick thing.
Okay.
But man,
All I know is Ryan Johansson is probably not gonna play this season.
probably not. And
He
that
might
might
be
be the
done.
breach in contract. Maybe it was like something in there said he's expected to play for however many games for a certain team, and Philadelphia is like he's not going to meet this because the injury. Who knows? They don't release these contracts to the public, so we have no
No.
idea what he may or may not have breached. But the fact that it's being appealed, I've never seen that. I've never seen a player appeal a contract termination.
Yeah. Well, all I can really say is
He's
this
glad it's not your
situation.
problem.
Either the Flyers are a loser in this situation, they have an unhappy player still playing with them, or Ryan Johansson just gets bought out and doesn't play this season.
Right. So like technically
So
he's already been bought out, but if he wins the
mhm,
appeal, then
he'll still get
it
paid.
right. Yeah. So
So
because
there,
that's
it
the
could be a
thing,
thing.
right? Because the contract termination, like Arizona didn't have to get hit in their cap hit with Galchenyuk because it was a part of the contract that they were willing to terminate. So Brian Johansson's dealing
Mhm.
with the same thing here. Like he
Yeah,
would literally lose money, and obviously
yeah.
you don't want to lose.
You
Yeah,
don't want to lose
don't
money.
want
He's still making a good amount of money because I believe
Nashville.
Nashville is retaining $4 million for him.
I wonder how that works. If the contract's terminated, does Nashville still have to pay for the buyout? I don't know, or the retained
I,
salary.
who knows? Well, they didn't buy him out; they traded
Sorry,
him.
yeah, sorry, traded. I kept saying buyout, but they traded him. But
But
they retain salary. So
yeah, there's nothing. This is a guy who is on the last year of that mistake of a contract, who is gonna not play the season and probably retire soon. So you know,
and he's
it'll
ending
be
it on
interesting to
such a
hear.
bad note.
It'll be uh, it'll be interesting if we get more details of like what they thought the breach of contract was,
Yeah,
and
we
also for our viewers, Brett spelled breach wrong.
well, you look. It's supposed to be BREACH. Sorry.
That's the name of the title. It's breach.
What are you gonna do?
All right, let me make sure I'm not an idiot though, so that way I can be right.
I didn't see any red squiggles, but
What is this?
I don't know what you're looking at.
I googled what you wrote. I'm gonna read you the
Okay,
what this is saying.
the definition of breach with two e's.
This is a so a breach is. I'm gonna read the AI one first, and then I'll say what the actual definition is. Breech presentation occurs when a fetus is in the womb in a
Oh
longitude lie
yes, oh
with its
yes, oh
buttocks or lower
yes,
extremities
yes.
enter.
I knew that actually. I knew that actually.
And then Merriam-Webster says a hind end of the body.
Yes.
Buttocks.
So yes,
So
that's the very disgusting information. If a baby comes out butt first, that's called a breach. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
breach. So I don't know. I'm surprised of what Johansson's breach was.
Yeah. Okay.
Did he come in the camp butt first?
Yes. That was the breach of contract was about the breach.
Listen, man, you can't do that. It's specifically here in your contract because you've done it so many times.
It's terrible. Oh boy, we need to move on here. Jeez.
I'm sorry.
Um,
I'm so happy.
some big extensions. I'm gonna talk about the bigger one first. Matty Beniers, the Calder winner from 2023, signed a 7-year extension with Seattle, a 7.14 AAV, so not super high, but still decent money there.
Yeah.
Matty Beniers had a very down year. After since he won the Calder, he hasn't quite been as good. Like he hasn't been progressing better. But
He had his Huberto season.
yeah, really, and he might have his Huberto season, that random 114-point year. But they've already signed him to the extension, so who knows?
Yeah.
I don't hate the deal for Seattle. I probably would have done a smaller bridge contract if I was them, but
Yeah.
I don't think they severely
This is
overpaid him.
this is their guy though that they're trying to
Right.
sell as this is the Kraken leader. Isn't he the captain?
They do not have a captain.
Okay, he'll probably be the
They
captain
have not
eventually.
had a captain since they traded Mark
Mark
Giordano.
Giordano. Okay. Interesting way. The coach got to pick a captain. I don't
I think the
I don't
locker
get that
room
logic.
does.
Yeah, well, they need to pick a captain.
Yep, Chicago
But yeah, I
doesn't have
think
a captain. I used to have this list in my head. I don't think San Jose has a captain. It should be Vlasic. Tampa doesn't have a captain. It should be Victor Hedman.
oh, that's true. Who will Tampa pick? That'll be interesting.
Should be Victor Hedman. One other contract is Cole Sillinger. We did mention him already because we were talking about Columbus. He signed a 4-year extension there. Only a 4.5 AV. Very nice contract for Sillinger. He's going to kind of be a second line or third line guy. So that's good money for a solid second liner. Maybe third line in sometimes.
Yeah,
But he could still
Columbus
get
player.
better.
Who
He's younger.
cares? Who cares? Never even heard of this guy.
I thought Cole Sillinger has had good potential for a while and hasn't quite lived up to that top role. That's why they drafted the guy whose name I already forgot again. Played with Michigan.
Adam Fantilli.
Adam Fantilli. So they wouldn't have drafted Fantilli if they felt like Cole Sillinger was going to be a number one guy. So for 4 years, 4.5, I think that's a solid value for him.
Yeah, we'll see how he, because Columbus as a whole has just been disappointing year after year after year. Ever since that Tampa
Tampa
season or
sweep.
the COVID year where they beat Toronto. You know, they've
Boy, I
just been
forgot
kind
that
of
happened.
a team. Yeah. They just exist.
They've been a team. Well, let's move on to some other news. This is some stuff that came out that I find interesting. So, Aesthetics, a great YouTube channel, gives you all information about NHL jerseys, hockey jerseys in general. The Blackhawks Winter Classic jersey was leaked, and it's the first ever Fanatics designed jersey to be released. I'm going to show it here on the screen now. That's what it looks like.
I can't see it, but
I posted it. You can look at it on the Discord. I posted it there. This is actually surprisingly the first red Blackhawks Winter Classic jersey because they've been in so many. This is the first one that's red. It has the nice striping going along. I think it's a solid jersey. It doesn't scream anything crazy unique. They kind of stick to a classic look. I think they did very well. They basically played it. They played it safe, but played it safe in a good way. Were you able to pull it up and look at it? Just to refresh your
memory. Got
memory.
some stripes. Has that little C with some hammers. You know, I actually like it. If I didn't hate and despise Chicago, you know, I'd be like, this is a cool jersey. But it's still a cool jersey.
Right. And I think the important thing is that, so here's something to know with the whole fanatics thing is a lot of people have their issues with fanatics, and rightly so. They've not done a good job in a lot of things. So,
Mm-hmm.
but what they did, and this is some information you might, a lot of people don't know, but Fanatics hired a lot of the Adidas team. So even though they're no longer with Adidas, a lot of the designers and everything, they just were hired by Fanatics. Like, now just work for us instead. And most of them took the job. So you're still going to
Okay.
see a lot of the same designs from Adidas, just without like the dimple marks. I'm wearing an Adidas jersey. It's got like the dimples on the shoulders. That's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be a thing anymore. Was that a big deal? Not really. So I don't know. I think it's a good sign of things to come.
I think the only good thing that will come from this is if Buffalo decides to change their whole style back to
The goat head.
the Hasek era of Buffalo.
They're
That would
already
be the
kind of
only
do
good
it.
thing Fanatics. They need. I'm tired of the stupid Buffalo with the saber swords.
That's the OG
I
though.
I don't care. They have the coolest jersey design and logo of all time.
So one thing to say that is actually that I'm going to say that is possible. We've already seen that happen twice. The LA Kings went back to their 90s look, and so did the Anaheim Ducks. Now the Anaheim Ducks kind of like modernized their classic look, but still they went
Hmm.
back to their classic logo. So maybe we'll see more teams doing that.
Yeah.
I really hope the Panthers do, but the fact that we won a cup with the Shield, probably not
I'm
going to
guessing
happen.
that's your logo.
Yep. Um, One other thing, the NHL 25 cover athletes were revealed, and it's something very unique. We've seen multiple players on the cup before, on the cover before, with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Tays in
Do you remember that? Because they
2012.
removed one of them.
Oh,
This is in one of the newer games. Do you remember where they had both Jonathan Tays and Kane on it?
that's what I'm talking
And
about.
then they had to remove Kane because he was going for some
Oh.
controversy.
We had the cover though that had both of them though, like so that exists. It's still
Really?
out there.
I know, but I remember they made like a version of
Just Tays.
just
It's so
Tays.
silly. Anyways, not to get too much into that silliness, they
Yeah.
released these three cover photos. There is one with just Jack Hughes. There's one with just Luke Hughes, and then the deluxe edition adds in Luke Hughes. I think I said Luke twice. I meant to say Quinn.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes is the one by himself. They picked the show the Flying Skate Vancouver jersey. That's one thing that's kind of interesting with this. They did not go with
Hmm.
the Vancouver blue, but the black jersey. And I think that
It's
was
a
a
cool
solid.
jersey.
Yes, they did. But the deluxe edition is kind of a weird cover for me.
Well, I'm not gonna buy a deluxe edition. You just
No,
get like
it's
stupid stuff for
Hockey
Hockey
Ultimate.
Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
If you buy that edition, you're an idiot, by the way, because the NHL games are already
Jeez.
bad. So, oh, should I give out my opinions on the new NHL games?
Well, you gave it there. And just called it.
I can go on a rant for probably days about
Let's
how
let's
the
save that
NHL
rant for
franchise.
another day. But
I
I don't
hate
know.
it.
I
We
think
haven't
I like
we haven't had a good game since NHL 14.
one thing that's exciting about this version that I've seen is that it is only going to be available on next gen. So only the newest Xbox and only the PS5, which means it's not going to be they're not going to have to try and make the game a little bit worse so it still works on the older consoles. They can just focus on using the newer technology. And I think that's a good sign that hopefully we'll see some positive changes.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
the the teaser trailer looked pretty good, but it always does. So
Yep,
we'll see.
they always try.
Let me drink some water real quick.
I'll tell you what, if you buy an NHL game, you're buying a roster update with the worst gameplay of all time that makes the games not fun.
I have which one did I skip? I don't think I ever got 22, but I have 21, 23, and 24.
All right. One day, I wonder if we're gonna have like we could have like a whole debate on you telling me why NHL games are
I
okay,
wouldn't be
and
good.
me.
I wouldn't be good at defending it. But
Yeah, because there's really no defense because I've generally not had because I love doing GM mode. I'll just start talking about this.
okay,
Ref guest shouldn't take that long. We haven't had a good GM mode since NHL 14, and that's my mode. That's what I love. Remember NHL 15 where you couldn't even do the draft for a while?
yes, NHL 15 is probably the worst game.
It will be by far remembered as like the worst game. They didn't even have shootout mode in the in the darn game. But yeah, I just think the gameplay just feels weird and dumb and gimmicky. It feels like the only way to score is pass, shoot, goal.
They took that out of the last things. Now,
Yeah,
whenever you try
so
to do a slap shot, you take an interference penalty.
oh my god.
So, yeah.
It's genuinely
So I
it's
tried to do when you try to
genuinely
do one timers, you have to like time your right stick by the flinging it up, but your co-player will instead just go like this. You just cross check a player, so then you're stuck with you're going to the box for 2 minutes instead of getting an open net one
so
timer.
yeah. I've given up on NHL games. I will only get one. The only reason why I played the most semi recent one, I think it was NHL 23. I don't even think I played NHL 24. Is because I had Xbox Game Pass at the time, so
Oh,
I
so you got
downloaded
it
it
for
for
free.
free, and it was there were days where I'm like, this is genuinely the worst experience I've had with playing sports games
Wow.
because NBA 2K has multiple issues about microtransactions when you're playing the be your own player mode
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. But for me, I really like the mode My League because you can actually edit
There's so
stuff and
much
make it fun for
customization.
yourself. Yeah, you can make the game fun, unlike the NHL games.
So
MLB, same thing.
some good news for you is that franchise mode has been promised to be completely revamped for NHL 25. I will
I
let
have gotten they have said that thing so many times it means nothing to me. I don't care if they say GM mode is being fully revamped. They have said that for NHL 16, for NHL 22 or 23. I don't care. Get rid of the coaches mode because the coaches make the game not fun. Where I can't make the lines I want because it has a -1 chemistry. Ugh, I hate them.
gotta turn
It
off
feels
that
like a
cam.
gimmick. It feels like a
I'll
freaking
let you know
gimmick.
how it goes, but I'm going to see the reviews because
Yes.
I'm just worried about the customization. So that's what I'm going to wait for. Um,
Yes. That because you like making players and our own stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
College.
yes. And whatever
Yeah.
else comes to mind for me. Um,
Exactly.
we're going to do another fun thing like we did last week. We did,
Besides me ranting.
yes. Well, some people think that's fun.
Yeah.
People listen to Joe Rogan rant every
Ugh,
day,
oh,
right? So
ugh, yuck.
so we'll see if you're the new Joe Rogan for people, but in the hockey
You
world.
know what? If I can be rich, it's okay.
Anyways, we're gonna do something fun. Another thing that I saw off, I said just YouTube, but I can just be kind of be honest. This is from the John Boy Media team. This is stuff they do with baseball. So we're gonna be
Mhm.
doing ref guess, and what this is we show each other. Well, I decided we're gonna show each other.
We're
Normally,
guessing refs.
no. We're going to pull up a player's hockey reference page, which just shows the teams they played for, their stats, and the awards they won. And can you
Mhm.
guess which player that was just from those things? And so we picked two easy players. So it should be easy. We'll find out. Two easy, two medium, and then one hard player to figure out. So we're going to find out if we did a good job at
Mhm.
categorizing our easy and mediums. I'm gonna have to go back and forth. I'm gonna try to see how well I can do about sending you the things and streaming this at the same time. We'll find
Yeah,
out.
good. You got this.
But I'm gonna have you go first, so I'm sending you your easy mode here for your first easy mode. Make sure it's the right one. Yes, this is
All
the right
right.
guy. All right, so I'm sending you a text, and it is now on our this streaming thing, so they can see who you're
Okay.
trying to guess.
Oh God. It's a goaltender.
Yes, it is a goalie.
This is actually pretty easy.
That's I was trying to be easy. This is the easy one.
Thomas
It
Vakun.
is Thomas Vokoun. He started his career in Montreal, which I didn't know. Then played for Nashville. Then got traded to Florida, which is around when we started fall hockey. Was Florida Star. Then got traded to Washington and Pittsburgh for a 7th round pick. I remember that.
Oh yeah. We quote we do a bunch of we have a little inside joke about 7th round picks with because of Thomas Vokoun.
Yes. All right, so now I'm gonna see if I can figure out your easy mode. And I made sure I didn't look at this yet, so I think I've done a pretty good job. All right, so I am looking at it now. So we have a guy who started playing for Florida in 2008, received some Calder votes, went to Chicago, Winnipeg, Calgary for a while. I have a guess. Is it Michael Frolik?
It is.
Yes. I was
Your
worried. I'm
first
like, oh
favorite.
boy, the Chicago threw me off. I forgot he played for Chicago.
Yeah. I forgot he played for Winnipeg.
Oh no, I knew Winnipeg. I could picture
Yeah.
him in the Winnipeg jersey. Um, yeah, I'm surprised he received Selkie votes one time. What's up with that?
That's he was a good he's like a penalty killer. Like that's
Yeah,
what he
he
developed
was.
into.
Yeah, he started out as a little Yager because he's
Mm-hmm.
Czechia, and then ended up being a two-way
A,
two-way player.
a solid defensive forward that I think most teams would want.
All right, I'm sending you your second easy one. We'll see if this is easy. We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see.
Let us look.
Played
Oh
14
God.
years. Won the
Oh.
Masterton in 2009. There's his one award.
All right, I know who this is because believe it or not, I looked at his stats semi recently. Is it Steve
And
Sullivan?
this is Steve Sullivan. So we thought that's weird. We kind of thought the same, similar things. Like I'm gonna pick a player
Yeah,
that he liked, and then we could see if we
exactly.
could figure out his stats.
Yeah,
Did you know? Like he played for so many teams early in his career.
I know because I've always known him as a Nashville Predator. He played like barely
Barely,
anything with
just
Nashville.
a little stint.
He was mostly known as like Chicago, New Jersey. Those were like his days.
Yeah, I mean, but the only award he won was with the Masterton Trophy, which I mean that's a not it's not even a leadership award. That's like kind of like I don't. It's like
Community.
no, not community. So like Connor Ingram won it this year because he like was on the player assistance program last year, and then he came back and it played
Okay,
really
yeah.
well. I don't think that's
I'm
the
not
same as
sure.
Sullivan's, but it's basically perseverance, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
he was a shorty.
that would be a very lame reason to give him that award.
Johnny Gaudreau wins every year. Like, how are you playing? Nathan Gerby.
Oh my gosh! All right, I'm gonna try my second easy one. Let me pull it up here. All right, guy who started. Okay, 90s player. Started in LA, 97. Played for Florida. Oh, gosh. It's not Jovanovski because he started with Florida. Just those. Selkie votes, so he's a forward. Who is this? 91 points. Oh, sorry. I do know who this is.
All right. Who is it?
It is Olli Jokinen.
Yes.
All right,
I was like, I was worried that you weren't going to figure it out. I
I
was
was
like,
a little bit
I
worried
thought
for a
this was
second.
easy.
I was worried there for a second. No,
Yeah.
it is. I just had to think about it. But that's the way these things are. Like you kind of like, right? We're starting from blanks basically. So just
Yeah.
something's got to trigger in your head real quick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we're moving on to medium difficulty. We'll see if I
All right.
properly name this a medium difficulty one. I wasn't sure. I was like, this guy is either going to be really easy or kind of hard.
All
Um,
right. Let's figure it out.
so we're moving on to medium. Here we go. Let's see if you can
Okay.
figure out who it is.
Cool.
Yeah, he had long career, 18 years. Thinking hard. Think out loud with us.
Yeah. Had a really good rookie season.
Yep, he was on the all rookie team. You can see he was second in Calder voting.
Yeah. Um. Oh my
He
goodness.
was with Nashville when he
Oh,
started.
I know who it is. Jason
It
Arnott.
is Jason
It did take
Arnott.
me a while. I got it though. Oh my goodness. I would have been upset if I couldn't get it and you tell me. I would have felt like the worst. Our one of my easily favorites besides also David Lake one.
Right,
You
he
know.
started his career in the '90s, so it would have been a little bit harder.
Yeah, because I didn't know we got him from Dallas. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't even know he played
he
for
won
Dallas.
he won the Stanley Cup with New Jersey. I think a couple
Mm-hmm.
times. Might have been just one time. Trying
Yeah.
to can't be clear on the years here.
That dude just looked like a dad.
I think of that
That's
when I
it.
see Mike Fisher.
Mike Fisher too.
All right, now I'm
They
gonna
gave off that energy.
see if I can figure out your medium for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, more of a Nashville guy. Started in 2002. L.A. to Nashville. Traded to Florida mid-season. Uh, Trade deadline in 2012. Then we traded him to Edmonton. Went to Toronto. Random 40th in Selkie votes in that 2012 season. um, not a point scorer. Not a point scorer at all.
This one might be difficult, but I figured with medium, I wanted to make it a lot more difficult.
Was a center. He was a center.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm asking for a hint a little bit. Is this
A
guy like
hint.
really short?
No, really big.
Really big. Oh gosh. Well, that makes sense if he was a center. So in my
Mm-hmm.
head, it was that one guy whose name I can't remember at all. Santorelli also came to mind, but that's not right.
No.
Gosh. So he was with us the year we made the playoffs, but he really didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Here's
no.
another hint. He was like a fourth line exclusive guy.
Give me fourth liners in the medium
Yes.
difficulty. Oh. Oh man.
Are you gonna throw out a name or just give up?
I can't I don't have a name at all. I'm gonna have to go up on this one.
All right. It was Jared Smithson.
Jared Smithson. I was never gonna get that. I do when you say his name I remember him, but I was
Yeah.
never going to get this.
That
Jeez.
name was not in your head.
No.
Okay. So that was a little difficult. Okay.
That was hard. That
I
could have
think I
been your
should.
hard mode for me.
Okay, fourth liners are probably not the guys to pick for medium. I got it.
Probably not. Let me make sure this is the right. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna find out. This guy was definitely not mainly a predator, so that's why I put him in the medium here. Let me
Okay.
pull him up here on our screen that everyone hopefully is looking at. Well, except
Yeah.
for our listeners. This is another one
You know.
you'll want to watch,
Ooh, just played one season for Nashville.
and not even a
Must have
full season. It was
a
like at
long
the end of his
time
career.
Buffalo Saber.
Couple of Selkie
Hmm.
votes in there. 65th. So many people get Selkie votes that you can finish 65th in Selkie voting. Lady Bang, in 2011. He didn't win it. 32nd.
Oh my god.
Had an 81 point season there in 2008. This is definitely a guy who was a high overall in 2009. Not like a super high overall, but he was a good player.
Hmm. Oh my god.
He was like a number one center
2014,
for Buffalo.
15. Oh, I think I know.
Did that hint kind of unlock it?
It kind of spoiled it. I think I know who this is. If I'm right. Is it Derek Roy?
It is Derek Roy.
If you didn't say number one center, I might have been
Well, I
lost.
don't want. I didn't. I want you to be able to get it, so I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
I was thinking about Buffalo guys, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember the year where we tried to get our one to our number one center was Mike Ribeiro. Our number
I
two
thought about
was
putting him.
Derek Roy.
I thought
Yeah,
about putting Mike Ribeiro, and I was like, it's going to be too easy. I think because when you see
yeah,
those crazy years in Dallas and everything, so
and he had a good season in Nashville too. So I would have been like, oh, this was the Mike Ribeiro era.
yeah, no, Mike Ribeiro would have been too easy. I probably could have put him in easy mode. So I'm like, let's
Yeah,
go Derek Roy. All right,
perfect.
I'm gonna see if my can get my second medium. Or I'm 2 for 3 or 3 for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez, another '90s guy, but this guy got heart votes, so he's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh, did not play for Florida, so this is the guy who didn't play for Florida.
This is the guy who didn't play for Florida, but you know him.
I know him. Was almost on one of the All Pro or All Star teams, although I don't like that they call it All Star because they really should be called
Mm-hmm.
All Pro. Oh, he's a goalie. Sorry. Now,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're
Now things are
oh
making sense.
I know it instantly.
You know who it is?
Nikolai Habibulin.
Yeah.
Boom. I feel good
Boom.
about
That
that.
was a lot easier than Jared Smithson.
Yes, Jared. That was crazy. Jared Smithson. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'll have to remember to pick like third liners.
All right, this one I'm not sure if you get, but that's why it's hard. But he still played in the era that we started watching. I'm making sure I'm sending you the right one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let us see.
let's see.
All right. This is hard mode.
This is hard mode. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun,
So you
dun.
can see he had that 1 year in
1
Nashville,
year in Nashville where I didn't watch.
1999, 1998, 99.
All right. Let me follow this. So played for Washington. 2 years in Atlanta. I got started at the 2009 to
Played for Minnesota and was getting Lady Bing votes. Still putting up decent points there. You can see 50, 61, 46. I actually had 2 stints with Minnesota.
I feel like once you say this guy's name, I'm gonna know it.
If I feel like I can give you a big hint, so let me know if you want
Okay,
it. I'll save my big hint.
he
Uh,
has a he has a point per game season too. Oh my gosh. Okay, is he a center?
I think he's a winger. Hold on, I'll give you the confirmation on that real quick. He might. I'm pretty sure he's a winger. Um, I don't remember exactly. He was a left winger, so that's your tiny hint. He was a
Okay,
left
so
winger.
now I feel like I definitely know the name.
Okay, so you won't need the big hint.
No, I need the big hint because I'll know who it is when you say it. That's my problem.
Okay, here's my big hint. He is currently actively a head coach in the NHL.
That does not help me at all. He's
Okay, do
not
you want
Brad
even a bigger
Bigmore.
hint? This will give it away
Sure.
right away. He has coached both of our teams.
Oh my god, it's Andrew
It's
Burnett.
Andrew Burnett.
Yeah, I okay, so I immediately knew like he was a winger. And I like I said, I would know the name, but as soon as you said he's coached both teams, like, okay,
That
yeah.
like I could if
So
honestly
I
I just
wouldn't have got it if I didn't get those hints, but I knew about him.
what's kind of interesting with Andrew Burnett is those 6 years in Minnesota, he still shows up in like all the top 10 for their wild statistics because
I
they have a
know.
such terrible history.
Yes.
So
Minnesota not good.
Andrew Burnett was not just some random guy that showed up behind the Panthers bench one day. He was a solid player back in the
Mhm.
the early 2000s. And
Even he was
interest,
doing good late. Played
yeah.
that Coronado season was like midway through his career.
And
He's a point per game.
do you know this trivia thing?
What?
Andrew Burnett is the first guy who ever scored a goal as a Nashville Predator.
That's crazy.
So that
And then
one
we
year in
immediately lost
Nashville,
him.
he is the first ever goal scorer for the Nashville Predators. Now he's their head coach.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good to
If
me.
if you didn't get your hard mode, I'm probably lost.
This guy's similar thing. Played
MDA. Is that Minnesota
Mighty
North?
Ducks.
Oh, Mighty Ducks of Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
1 year in Florida. Played with, or actually 1.5 years. Yeah, 1.5 years with Florida. Uh, Goes to Carolina the year they win the cup. New York, Carolina. Boy, that era of Florida, I wouldn't know at all. That's like that's not even Pavel Bure era because he's pretty much only 1999 and 2000 and 2002.
Yeah.
Uh, Jeez. He was a center.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we don't have his stats from the 90s and early 2000s, I think he's a center based on the later career. Went everywhere. Gosh. Was he a scorer? Kinda. A center who played for Florida for a few years. It's not Kozlov. I don't think you even would know who that is. Right? It's not Kozlov.
No.
No. He played with Florida longer than this.
Mm-hmm.
It's Valerie Bure. No.
No.
I was trying to think of that era back in the 2000s Panthers, but all
He
the
played
players.
up to 2018 to 2019.
You're right. I should be looking more around here.
Like,
Played for Minnesota, Nashville. Oh man! And this guy's like, he's definitely not the fourth liner. He's probably a second liner, maybe a third liner.
third liner late in his career.
Oh, do you have any big hints for me?
Oh boy. I don't. Problem is, I don't think any of those hints will help you.
His
Like,
name rhymes with.
I'm not doing that.
I think I need something to help me trigger something.
Let me think. Okay. I'll just let's see if this is a hint. His face looked very old and he had black hair in his later stages.
That is wild. Hint.
Yeah, like his face like constantly like dragged down a little. Like it looked like
What? Oh, no,
you
no.
know, let me see a picture so if I see if I'm remembering him correctly.
That is the most. I can't think of how that would be helpful at all.
Yeah, he's not bad, but right now he's 47 years old. That's crazy. And he's playing
Yeah,
up
no,
till
he like just
2019.
retired not even that long
Yeah,
ago.
played a ton of games, like 1,500.
Oh gosh, so
He
I should know
was
this guy. This guy shows up probably.
I think the name will you'll know it,
Come
but
on,
you
they give
definitely
me
won't think Florida Panther.
which team would
I
he?
wish I could give you a bigger hint.
He's not even really known for these teams. That's probably what makes this hard. Is because
Yeah, that's
he didn't stick around anywhere.
he just played a long time. So like this guy has 1,516
See,
games played.
he won another cup with Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he won both those cups against the Sharks and the Predators.
Yeah, he's a 3-time cup winner.
Yeah, he won it with Carolina, Pittsburgh. He only came to Pittsburgh when they won those cups, and then he left.
Mm-hmm.
So he must have been the key.
Then he went back for one season. He was not a key for the cup.
No, I'm just saying, I'm being funny.
Yeah.
Because they didn't win the cup after he left, and they didn't win the cup before he left.
Yeah.
Except for
Now I get what you're saying.
except for
nice.
2010.
They needed to bring it back. Yeah. All right, I will give you a hint.
Okay.
The rhyming hint. Dolan.
Dolan?
At Dolan.
At First, what? I'm sorry, but that does not help. You're just gonna have to tell me. I give up.
All right. I'm sorry that you couldn't get two. Matt Cullen.
Matt Cullen. Oh my gosh, that is no. That was nowhere in my head at all. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Isn't it crazy he's
He
played
played with Florida.
1,516 games? Played for both of our teams for 2 seasons.
Don't have him in a Panthers jersey at all in my head.
Yeah.
Um, dude, this guy had a crazy career.
Yeah,
Oh my
15.
gosh.
Is because I was looking for, so what I wanted to do for hard was I was going to pick like a very obscure player who's played a
You
thousand
picked an
games.
obscure one.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then I was like, Matt Cullen, I forgot that he was in the NHL for a long time.
Next time I'm gonna pick some random '70s player that I know but you don't.
No, you can't. We got to do like era so I at least have a chance. All right,
I'm gonna throw out Alex Del Vecchio. I don't think you know.
oh my god, no, never heard of him. All right,
All time great Red Wing.
if we can close the show, I have some bathroom
Oh my god!
choices to
What a
make.
way to end the pod.
Yeah, this was a good pod. I think this was my favorite one.
Yes. Hope you guys all enjoyed it too. We're gonna try record maybe every other week until the season starts. There was a lot of news this week, so we jumped on today. So we'll see. You guys will always keep it in the know. But for now, until next time, my name's Brett.
I'm Nolan. I gotta go.
All right. Till next time. See ya.